if you can't be excited about going down to St James's Palace
Yeah.
or going down to Buckingham Palace and hanging out with the king, you shouldn't need caffeine to do this kind of thing. Or if you're not excited about getting a great tip that Harry and Meghan are being kicked out of Frogmore Cottage, I don't need coffee. Honestly, it keeps me excited all the time. Reporting on the Royals, as I said earlier, these are huge celebrities. They're not A-list; they're A-star celebrities, and it's an honour to be able to have the responsibility of doing the Rota jobs, but also getting stories that people read all the way around the world and people want to talk about.
Matt Wilkinson, you are a YouTube rock star these days. I don't know if that was on your list of things you aspired to be or do, but I know all of my friends are glued to your YouTube program. You've got a special coming up Saturday. We're going to discuss that, but I want to pick your brain about what it's like to be a real royal reporter. You're on the scene. You see these people in real life regularly. Did you grow up in a household that was that respected the royal family, that was excited about what the royal family did when you were younger?
Well, I grew up in a family who knew the royal family and loved the royal family, read every single article about the royal family. My families had, family members had different opinions. My mum was a huge Princess Diana fan. She couldn't stand Camilla, as lots of women of her age are. My dad had deep affection for Charles. He liked him very much. He liked some of the things that Charles was interested in. But like every member, everyone growing up in Britain, the royal family are a part of the fabric of your life. You see them. We'd sit together watching Trooping the Colour every summer. We get excited about waiting for the Queen's speech. It's just part of growing up. The royal family are there on significant occasions.
Oh, I love that. So did you slowly evolve into the royal beat, or was the royal beat something you aspired to do?
Well, so I've been a journalist for about 20 years now, and I did about
You can't tell.
10
Look
years.
at how you look at that baby face.
I did about 10 years at The Sun, doing all sorts of stuff, covering terrorist attacks, covering all, footballers cheating on their wives, those kind of stories. But then I always had an interest in the royal family. And when the job came up, I saw it kind of emerging, and I thought I would love to do this. It was just Harry and Meghan were on the scene, and it was making front pages, and it was exciting, it was sexy, it was interesting. And as a journalist, you want to be there at the big issues. You want to be there at the major events, whether it's if you're in showbiz, you want to be interviewing Taylor Swift, or if you're a war reporter, you want to be there on the ground in Ukraine. I thought, well, the royal family have some of the biggest, most momentous historic occasions. That's the kind of job that I want to do, purely from a journalistic perspective.
Walk me through the day in the life when there is something exciting going on. I know we've been in kind of a weird place with several of the senior royal members too ill to travel. And then also we went through COVID, where you were covering people constantly on Zoom. But what was when things are exciting and it's go 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 go? What's a typical day like for you? Are you on the road? Are you following the Princess Royal here and there? And how do you get your assignments? What is that like?
So I'm part of the Royal Rota. So there's 6 or 7 newspaper journalists that are trusted to split all the royal jobs up. So we have to go and cover every single event that the major royals do. When I leave this interview, I've got to go to St James's Palace. The King will be there with the Duke of Kent, Sophie, and the Queen will also be there holding a Chogger meeting. And so one part of my job is to attend every single event that I get my name pulled out of the hat for, and I file it to the rest of the UK press. So that's the kind of UK rota, and that takes up a lot of the time. But what I have to do on the side is nibble around at the edges, find out all the gossip, find out all the exclusives, get some sources, get people talking to me, and that's the real kind of hard part of the job. You do the basics, you go and report, very accurately, very properly on everything the King says to the people that he's meeting tonight at this event at St James's Park. But I'll always have an ear out or spot something that I think, well, that could be a good story, or something's changed here. The King looks different, or he's got a new pair of shoes or something, or that he said something strange to someone that he might have, an equerry might come up to me and hint that something is happening in the future. And it's those kind of things that you kind of put aside and think, oh, I wonder in the future that might be a good story. And then obviously, I spend a lot of time with away from following the royals, meeting. Well, I won't go into it, but I have other sources and I have other people that I speak to that I do get stories from as well that make the front page of the paper as kind of a big exclusive. So.
That sounds like you need a lot of caffeine. I can't imagine what that's like to stay on the road so often and get to see
Well,
so many exciting things.
if you can't be excited about going down to St James's Palace
Yeah.
or going down to Buckingham Palace and hanging out with the King, you shouldn't need caffeine to do this kind of thing. Or if you're not excited about getting a great tip that Harry and Meghan are being kicked out of Frogmore Cottage, I don't need coffee. Honestly, it keeps me excited all the time reporting on the royals. As I said earlier, these are huge celebrities. They're not A-list; they're A-star celebrities, and it's an honour to be able to have the responsibility of doing the rota jobs, but also getting stories that people read all the way around the world and people want to talk about. I love it.
Do you remember your first assignment? And I mean, not like as just maybe you weren't officially in this position yet, but you were tossed a bone and you got to go cover the royals, and you're seeing this for the first time, and you've got this closer access than anybody else, and what that feeling was like, where that was.
I'll tell you exactly. I remember it. I can't remember the date. I think it was March the 3rd or March the 5th, 2020. And it was the Commonwealth Day ceremony at Westminster Abbey. And it was Meghan and Harry's final engagement in the UK. Meghan actually flew back to California that night. And so I was there, sat in Westminster Abbey, never done a royal job before, never really seen them in person before, watching Harry, Meghan walk down the middle of Westminster Abbey, sitting just a little bit behind William and Catherine, next to Edward and Sophie, with my notepad, noting down exactly who was doing what, who was saying what, and having to report on this. It's a wonderful ceremony. The late Queen was there, Prince Philip was there, Charles was there, but it was all about this Fab Four that was back together for this ceremony, and that was my baptism of fire. That was seeing, and that's kind of. That story is then, carried on for the next 4 years. But it was Meghan's last ever engagement as a working royal, was my first ever engagement as a Sun's royal reporter.
What a thrill. She's wearing that green dress, right, with the cape. And it was just such a statement moment. Is that the same instance where the Prince and Princess of Wales, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge at the time, on the itinerary, they were set to walk in at a separate time, but to make Harry and Meghan feel better, they opted to, sway?
Yeah, it was. I remember because as part of the royal job as well, you get put into a million WhatsApp groups with, one about the King, one about the Queen, with some of their staff, some of their press officers, one with reporters. And this was I was getting all these messages and I was trying to understand what people were talking about. And it was like, there was a procession. And only now I realise the significance of it. But there was procession, and they changed the kind of the programme that was given to people in there. William and Catherine, I think, were in the procession, and Harry and Meghan weren't. But when it actually took place, William and Catherine had agreed not to be in the procession. I think that was what happened. I mean, that was a really nice gesture for them. I didn't see that in Spare. I didn't see that in the Netflix thing. That was a really nice thing for William and Catherine to do, knowing that was Meghan's last engagement, and she literally, afterwards, she went straight to Heathrow and flew off to California.
What are you going to do this Saturday about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? It's interactive. It's live. People can participate too. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so we're doing a Royal exclusive live on that will be coming out on Saturday. We've got a live audience for the first time, so it's not just me and two people, or just me and you, Kinsey, sitting down agreeing or disagreeing and stuff. We will actually be talking about subjects like Harry and Meghan in front of a live audience. It's going to be really interesting to see their reaction when we start talking about them, because we get loads of comments, saying, "Stop talking about Harry and Meghan. Why are you so obsessed with Harry and Meghan?" And also people fascinated by their story. So we will be talking about what we know about their relationship, what we know about whether Harry's going to be coming back more often, what's been happening in the last 2 weeks, where is Meghan? Harry's been very much out, living life as on his own, all these kind of engagements. So we're with Arthur Edwards, who is our famous photographer, and Jenny Bond, who was BBC royal correspondent for many years during the years of Princess Diana, and we'll be digesting that. I'm not sure if we'll come up in it with any answers, but we'll definitely come up with many points of view on the future of Harry and Meghan, where they are going, whether they're going in separate ways or whether they're heading in the same direction together.
Do you have any advice for somebody that would like to be in a field like yours or similar?
A good friend of mine, Valentine Lowe, who was a reporter at the Times, and he did a very good book, Courtiers. I recommend everyone to read it. He said that if you want to be a royal correspondent, then you were the wrong person for the job.
I think I quote Valentine Lowe at least once a day, and I probably quote Courtiers 3 or 4 times a day based on the incredible content. Did you just work with Valentine Lowe in 2 separate capacities? Were you in 2 separate newsrooms, or did you ever work in the same newsroom with Valentine Lowe?
Never in the same newsroom, but we definitely worked. Yeah, we worked together on tours. So we were in the Caribbean together, I think, and we went on King's tours and stuff like that. When he was Prince of Wales, tours with Val. So I've been on the road with Val. As I say, we talk about WhatsApp chats, constant WhatsApp chats with Val. He is a very dry, very quite hilarious man, but he's a great guy. He's a bit of a loss on the Royal Rota, to be fair, but never in the same newsroom job. It's a job that kind of you get pushed into. I actually wanted to do it. I thought it was. I saw the royal family as something that I've always been interested in, and I just thought this is just exciting. I mean, I went to the Queen's funeral. I never thought growing up in a village in Berkshire, going to a comprehensive school, that I'd go to the late Queen's funeral or the King's coronation. It just gives you, as a journalist, these incredible opportunities to go and witness history and try as best as you can to tell people about it, because there's just such a huge appetite for information.
Well, I'm so grateful for your time today, Matt Wilkinson, the royal editor of The Sun. What a great job you have. What a sweet spirit you have. I enjoy talking to you every time I get to chat with you. So thank you so much for your time today. Thanks so much for watching. If you agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and send to a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.